Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, Escape from Transylvania. The goddess next door and John Haynes must escape a horde of vampires on the hunt in this horror-filled Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Escape from Transylvania in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. There's a new group of males out there calling themselves Incels. And Incel stands for involuntarily celibate. And the Incel males say that they are involuntarily celibate because women choose not to pay them any attention, and women choose not to offer them opportunities at sexual relations. However, when I take a critical look at these so-called incel or involuntarily celibate men, I see the same beta male nice guys that are not having opportunities at sex due to their approaches to life. And one of the big problems with the incel is that the incel has been raised in a dysfunctional way. Now, when it comes down to many of these so-called incel or involuntarily celibate men, they have learned beta male approaches because they have learned their whole approach to life primarily either by single mothers or households where they had beta male fathers in the home. And because they learned a beta male approach, they are very passive. And because they're very passive, that's the reason primarily why they cannot get the attention of women, and that's why they can't get opportunities at sex. Because when it comes down to many of these incels, their behavior primarily is socialized to be just like females. And because they behave and act just like females, most females do not see them as sexually attractive. And the reason why they don't see them as sexually attractive is because when they look at these so-called incel males, they see another female sitting right next to them. They don't see a man sitting next to them. They see another woman. And within the first 5 seconds of looking at them, they see them as someone they put into the friend zone. Now, when it comes down to these incels, these are the guys, they want to have a relationship with women, they want to have opportunities at sexual relationships with women, but these guys have no social skills, no life skills, and they never learned social skills and life skills from another man. And that's one of the big problems with the so-called involuntarily celibate man, is that he never learned how to be a man from another man, or how to pick up on social cues like men learn from other men, because these are unwritten social rules that men learn from interacting with other men, not in places like pickup artist seminars or pickup books. They learn them from other men. And because they learn them from other men, they learn how to radiate natural masculine energy. And because a man learns how to radiate natural masculine energy, women are naturally attracted to that man because he has a strong masculine presence and he's radiating masculine energy that lets those women know he is someone that they should pay attention to. But the incel man, what he has learned is how to act and socialize like a female. So he's learned how to radiate feminine energy, and because he radiates feminine energy, he repels heterosexual women. And that's why he cannot get the attention of a woman, and that's why most women just don't see this guy. But this guy, he wants attention from women, and that's why he's frustrated. And when it comes down to the incel, he's sexually frustrated because he does not know how to get opportunities at sexual relationships with women. And one of the things that really messes up the incel is that he doesn't want sex because he wants to have a relationship with a woman, or he doesn't want to, just relieve his sexual tension. No, what he really wants it to do is he creates a covert contract with sex, because when it comes down to the incel, he wants sex for the same reason that the nice guy and the beta male wants sex, because the incel believes that if he has sexual relations with a woman, it will elevate his social status and it will make him appear to be respectable as a man. That's the lie that the incel has been told, because he believes most of the media out here created by Madison Avenue advertisers and Hollywood movie studios that correlate sexual relations with a woman with increasing a man's social status and his popularity, when that's not the case at all. A man can go out here and have sex with a woman and still be a lame. And that's something the incel has never learned because he's on the outside looking in, not understanding that a lame guy who has sex with a hot woman will still be a lame at the end of the day because it's who he is on the inside that makes him lame. And many women will just have sex with a lame because they just pity him and they don't respect him. And that's what the incel or the beta male really wants. He wants to get respect. He wants to get favor. He wants to be elevated by this sexual encounter. He believes that a sexual encounter will elevate his social status when sexual encounters do not elevate your social status. And that's what really has the incel really frustrated, is that he believes that he can't get this opportunity at sex, which will eventually lead to his elevation of social status. And that social status does not come from sexual relations with a woman. Again, a lame who has sex with a woman is still a lame at the end of the day. Now, what really helps a man elevate himself is he has to take a look inside of himself and find out what's valuable to him and what he sees as having worth. That's how a man starts to elevate himself. And when it comes down to the incel, he's too busy wallowing in self-pity to go out here and do the hard work on self that will allow himself to move his life ahead. Now, one of these incels who decided to take a truck and run it down a street in Toronto, he mentioned Supreme Gentleman Elliot Rodger as his role model. And when I took a look at that, I said to myself, this man is extremely dysfunctional because Elliot Rodger, like many incels, he would dress up his outside, but he would never make any efforts to build up his internal intangibles of manhood, like his character, or build up his discipline. Your Elliot Rodger, like another female, thought he could stand out here like a peacock wearing these expensive clothes, wearing these designer sunglasses, and driving this expensive car, and that this would attract the so-called ideal woman he wanted to get, this tall, attractive blonde. And that wasn't going to attract anyone but female predators to him. And when it comes down to the incel, what they don't want women. They want women who are of a fantasy idea that they have in their head. Because when it comes down to the incel, they're just like the simp in that they don't want the woman. They want the fantasy that they have regarding the woman, and they want the fantasy in their head to come true, where this attractive woman will wind up having them to be able to elevate their social status and be the social currency that will allow them to enter social circles with who they believe is to be more popular people in society. Because what they want to do is they want to use the woman as an attachment, and they want to use sexual relations as social currency to get themselves in with a more popular group. And when you take a look at the incel and the nice guy, they aren't very nice at all, because they aren't involved in, they don't want relationships with women because they like the woman for who they are and who she is and her values. No, the internal things that's related to that woman don't matter to them. It's all about the external things that they're going to get by having this woman in their life. So they sit there and they talk about how many of these women are users when they're actually using women themselves. And the incel is angry that women won't pay attention to him so that he can use her to elevate his social status by having her be on his arm and be his sex on demand female. And when you take a look at the incel and the nice guy, they really are the biggest misogynists in the room, because these are the guys who go out here and objectify women, but will sit there and tell another man he's objectifying women, but in actuality, through his actions, he objectifies women and he goes out here and uses women. Then he gets mad when he gets played at the end of the day. But when it comes down to some of these incels, they get angry because they can't have the opportunity to manipulate and use women. But then what's even more dysfunctional about it is that these guys just don't want to take their lumps in life. They feel like they are entitled to women and that women are just supposed to come up to them because they are there. Again, this is a female trait that they have learned from their single mothers or these beta male fathers, that because they are a certain guy with certain clothes, certain attachments, and certain status, women are just supposed to come up to them. They think just like women, because the women out here, they think that because they are so-called attractive and female, that guys are just supposed to come up to them. And this is the same entitled mindset that many of these incels have. And the reason why they're angry is because they sit there and think that they can use these female approaches to relationships to go out here and have relationships with women, not knowing that they're out actually repelling women by participating in these behaviors. Because women want to see men be confident, women want to see men be strong, and they want to see a man who has the discipline and character to walk up to them and talk to them, and if he gets rejected, have more of a character to walk away unfazed by that rejection of advances. But the incel cannot even muster up the courage to approach women, because in many cases these guys are introverts, and they're so introverted that they're living in their own world and not facing the reality that part of life is conflict, and when you're in the real world you have to deal with the fact that rejection is a part of life, and women are going to reject you. And when women reject you, you have to shake it off and move on, because there are 4 women for every 1 man, and you're going to have to deal with a lot of rejection in order to get an opportunity at one of them. But the incel doesn't want to muster up that courage to start taking those steps, so he sits there and simmers and boils in anger, getting angry at men for having relationships with women and him not being able to get those opportunities, because he wants to be able to get those opportunities, but he doesn't know how to get them, and he doesn't have the courage to go out here and take his lumps the way a man would. No, he'd rather sit there talking about how he's involuntarily celibate, sexually frustrated, and extremely angry about things that he could actually work on fixing if he put some effort into himself, put himself first, and started making efforts to solve this problem. No man has to be involuntarily celibate. Celibacy is a choice a man makes, and he makes that choice by his actions and his behaviors. And the incel makes that choice by being passive and making excuses for a situation instead of making efforts towards working towards a solution that will constructively solve his problem. And his big problem is that he does not see people as people. He sees women as objects, and he sees them as objects he can use to get social currency for himself. And the reason why he's involuntarily celibate is primarily because he wants to get an ideal woman and not the actual women who are around him. Because, again, there are 4 women for every 1 man, and opportunities at getting women all the time. Women are constantly paying attention to guys every day, and all it takes is a man going out here and putting some effort into himself. And when women see a man putting effort into himself, he will find a woman who will pay attention to him and want to spend time with him. And that woman will give him that time because she likes him for him, and she likes the confidence he radiates, and that's how a man will go out here and have a healthy and successful relationship. Unfortunately, the incel doesn't want to put that work in, because the incel feels that he can just go out here and stand on a corner and stuff is just supposed to happen. I'm sorry, life doesn't work like that, and until incels understand this one point, a lot of them are going to be stuck in this whole nice guy situation and wondering why they're finishing dead last in life. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to try some of my men's issues books like the Simp series, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.